The ocean spirit dances today to abundance and joy and to eternal peace.
See, this is what we're hoping for. This is part of our hope. Not only that we are members of the elect with fruits meet for repentance, like John the Baptist said, but from our lowest state, because we've been brought low, even though we have this knowledge, we have this truth. Remember what it said in Revelation. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Why are we rich? Because we're rich in faith. We have this knowledge. So our hope is at our last end, we're going to be increased. And if you ask me, the greatest riches right now is to be delivered by Yahushua, is to get that new body that the Apostle Paul spoke about in 1 Corinthians 15th chapter, to get that, get that new body where we'll never be sick, we'll be immortals, like it said in 1 Corinthians 15, to be delivered from the coming destruction, and to be a part of Yahushua's cabinet in the next kingdom. Okay, those are the real riches right now. That's what we want to get. Because if you get that, you got everything. I mean, you got everything. Okay, so our sights are set a lot higher than this present world. All right, as it is written, the fashion of this world shall pass away. We are individuals of vision, and the scripture said, where an individual lacks vision, he perishes. Okay, so we can see the future. All right, and we hope that we're going to be part of it, beginning with the elect.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of TFS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakadash. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake of believers, listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Hashem Shah. All right, what I want to get into with this lesson, all right, is your boy, he out here giving crazy work. Okay, he out here is giving crazy work, man. With these, this whole Ozempic, all right, this whole Ozempic massacre. I guess you can call it Ozempic massacre. Okay, the side effects that this drug, okay, is having on people is crazy, man. All right, and this devil, he does these things intentionally, man. Okay, he is the devil that the Bible speaks of, and see, the earth is suffering under childless, wicked ruler. This nigga wicked, and he's a child, man. Okay, when you go into Ecclesiastes 10:16, and we get it all the time. It says, woe to thee, O land, and the whole earth, okay, is being destroyed. The people, the plants, the animals, okay, the ecosystem, okay, the earth itself is being destroyed. Woe goes to destruction, man. So woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child. All right, so a man, right, the king, is supposed to be extremely mature, extremely disciplined, extremely considerate, okay. A king is supposed to be patient. You see, and this devil, he's the exact opposite when it comes to the qualities needed, all right, to be a king. Okay, and he's like a child. A child is, a child can be irresponsible. A child can, lack accountability. Okay, a child can try to do too much, all right, without having, the experience. Okay, without fully understanding the consequences. And this is this devil to a T. Okay, it says, and thy princes eat in the morning. Thy princes, okay, which are rulers, okay, if they eat in the morning, that means that their interest is their priority, is their top priority. Okay, and you look at these devils, how they move, their interest is their top priority within their rulership. That's why the system is set up to where the system only benefits, all right, those at the top. Okay, you have this small 1%, okay, that's accumulating all the wealth, the resources, okay, because all this devil, his mind is on power of profit, okay. The people that's in authority, their mindset, their interest is power and profit, okay. You know, you got the elites, you know, these elite bankers, their main thing is power now, okay, and you have their underlings, you know, these the super rich, you know, these tech giants and, you know, particular, you know, leaders of these nations that they set up. Well, they set up policy that only serve their interests, man. You know, you have, you know, presidents and prime ministers getting rich off the policies that they make, you know, within government, man. Okay, or to enrich their cronies, all right, their crony billionaire friends. Okay, the earth is in the worst predicament it's ever been, especially America, man. All right, America is the most unhealthy. Okay, here it is. You see, here it is. You know, it has the highest health insurance for the most unhealthy people. Okay, who benefits off that? The insurance companies. You see, no policy, and we go on and on about these different policies, man. But no policy is meant, all right, to be of service to the people. No, it's to the service to the few. Okay, so this is the setup. Okay, that the you know, that the devil has in the earth, and he rules the earth, all right, like an irresponsible child, okay? And his interest is his only priority. It ain't his top priority, it's his only priority, man. It's serving himself, okay? And these devils, all right, all these devils that's in position of power, well, they're in position to serve themselves, man. You know, and this devil, you know, when you go into this video here, man, you know, hey, this devil got too much free time on his hands. This devil got way too much free time, man, to come up with the wickedness that he's coming up with, man. Okay? So when you go to Proverbs 4:16, it said, "For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall," man. So this nigga is driven by mischief, man. Finding out new ways to destroy people, to oppress people, to suppress people, you know, mentally, spiritually, physically, you know, psyops and enchantments and this and MK Ultra and, you know, putting this here and putting that there, this do that to the body. 2 years later, this do that to this. 6 months down the line, and this do that, and this compound with this and affect this. Like, it's all this nigga does, man. Okay, and just come up with mischief, man, that he can put out into the earth, man. Okay, this man is a real sick individual, man. Okay, and this man has to be stopped, man. The Lord has to intervene. You see, this man he's a true madman on the loose, man. Okay, and he's turned the earth to a big science lab, man. Okay, and it's like going back to a child. It's like this nigga is playing pranks. It's like he's pulling pranks on the earth. It's like his mischief is like one prank after the other, man. See how they react to this. See how they do this. Let's put this in that. See what this do. You know, see if this really worked like we, you know. That's all the devil is on, man. He's not concerned about forwarding life. He's not concerned about forwarding righteousness, man. He's not concerned about maintaining earth as a paradise, man. That's none of his concerns. The exact opposite, man. Which is how to cause more confusion, more death, more chaos, more war, more sickness, more, you know. This is all this nigga is on, man. Okay? So I want to play here. Let me see. Is that the last one? Yeah. Matter of fact, let's get this in Proverbs, and then we'll segue to the video of Rajah. So this Proverbs 28 and 15, and it says, "As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is the wicked ruler over the poor people." Okay, and he loves to have people poor. Okay, because it gives him leverage. You know, that's why he creates these systems that that is meant to cause generational poverty, man. You know, at first it was only for Jake, but now, you know, you Americans in general, okay, have fell into this cycle of generational poverty, man. Okay, because everyone's barely getting by. You see, most people are barely getting by. Okay, and this devil loves to have, people poor, like I say, because it gives him leverage. He wants people dependent on him, and when you're dependent on him, man, he can have his way. He can put this and that and that and this. Let's try this. Let's experiment on them with this. Because everyone's dependent on this devil, man. And he can cause one problem and then come and give you a solution that give you more problems, man. Okay, this man is beyond wicked, man. Okay, and in verse 16, it says the prince that wanted understanding is also a great oppressor. Okay, and this man lacks, understanding. By default, he's a great oppressor because he doesn't have the qualities and the capabilities, okay, the integrity that it takes to be a ruler. Okay, he's lacking in that. All right, and so by default, it makes him a great oppressor. Okay, that's why it says he's like a roaring lion and a raging bear, man. He just devours people, man. He just destroys people in any way that he can. Okay, and then it's just traps and snares set up all in this man's system meant to just devour you, man. It said, but he that hateth covetousness shall prolong his days. Okay, so let's go to this video, man. Show y'all what y'all uncle out here doing, man. All right. So let's read. This is fair use. Not using this for any monetary gains. All right, for educational purposes only and reporting the news. Fair use. So let's play this. Listen to y'all uncle out here. It's a goddamn shame. Okay, but you dumb, stupid people, you deserve everything that you
Stress
get.
this. Listen.
You deserve everything you get from listening to this nigga, man. Okay, so let's play this.
Complete organ failure. The Ozempic face is the least of their worries because if you're taking one of these drugs, it could cause vision loss, as you talked about, stomach paralysis, and complete organ failure. And now it's even being linked to mood and psychological disorders, Jimmy, like anxiety and depression, and then hair loss, especially in women, and then pancreatic inflammation, and even something called, get this, Ozempic breath.
Oh. Hey, you've heard about this. Everybody I know is taking Ozempic. Donald Trump stabbed RFK Jr. in the back when he gave a $35 billion welfare check to the makers of Ozempic so they can give it to Americans cheaper. That's what this is. Welfare. Forget it's a welfare for the socialism for the wealthy and rugged individual and for everybody else. And you know what happens to when you take Ozempic? People are getting the Ozempic face. Have you seen this? That's Jenny McCarthy. Look at how pretty she.
No, that's not Jenny McCarthy.
Jessica Simpson.
I'm sorry, Jessica Simpson. I get those mixed up. But that's how pretty she was. And look at her. She looks like she should be out haunting houses.
Yeah.
And then of course Whoopi, I think she actually looked better. And then here's Katy Perry. Remember how pretty Katy Perry? Now this is her Ozempic face. Did you know that there's 4,400 lawsuits that have been filed in the United States alone regarding GLP-1? That's what they call it, a GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic, and as GLP-1 use moves from niche treatment to mainstream phenomenon, that number is poised to rapidly increase. While these lawsuits primarily focus on gastrointestinal issues, because it'll paralyze your intestines, it'll give you pancreatitis. But there's a lot more side effects to the drug. Like, guess what? It causes blindness. We've covered this on the show. People go blind from it. That's for real. And sometimes even death.
It's sad that you go blind. You can't see how good you look.
You can't see how good you look. That's the irony there. But you also can't see the numbers on the scale. So that helps. Right? So there are currently 31 million Americans taking Ozempic or something like that. And this is Ozempic face. That's what you get out of it. Wow. Now I want to bring on somebody who has particular expertise on health, and she's here to help explain everything from Ozempic face to organ death that these users of GLP-1 drugs are experiencing. Welcome to the show, Kim Bright, founder of Brightcore. Hey, Kim, good to see you again.
Jimmy, hey, great to be back. Yeah, don't you just want to go around and have everybody look at your Ozempic face? I mean, this is crazy. And, you know, people don't realize, but it's caused by the rapid, significant weight loss when you're taking these GLP-1 medications, and it's causing the fat to just vanish quickly from their face. And so when you deplete the fat like that, it's going to leave the skin with reduced elasticity. Then it's going to sag. You're going to have hollow cheeks. You're going to have sunken eyes. Your wrinkles are going to get intensified because that skin can't keep up with the shrinking as fast as the fat disappears. But, you know, I have to say, these people, the Ozempic face is the least of their worries, because if you're taking one of these drugs, it's going to it could cause vision loss, as you talked about, stomach paralysis, and complete organ failure. And now it's even being linked to mood and psychological disorders, Jimmy, like anxiety and depression, and then hair loss, especially in women, and then pancreatic inflammation, and even something called, get this, Ozempic breath.
Oh,
You're definitely going to want to hang out with these women or men that use Ozempic. Listen to what happens. This is a term they're using to describe foul-smelling breath, metallic taste, and fishy-smelling burps. And this is increasingly being reported by the people that are using these. So aren't you just wonderful to hang with?
Wow. Are you are you taking Ozempic, or are you a walleye? That's my question. Well, take a look at this. Here's a sad story about Ozempic. Let's watch this.
Juanita Gantz struggled with her weight. At age 62, she weighed 242 pounds. Yet the most she could lose trying various diets, she says, was about 20 pounds.
I almost felt defeated and humiliated. I mean, why couldn't I lose this weight?
Then she saw ads for drugs, including Ozempic.
We prompt the customer to let us know exactly what they're looking for, and Finn takes care of it. It's
Her doctor agreed that because of her diabetes risk, she was a good candidate for one of those drugs and prescribed her Wegovy and later Ozempic, both GLP-1 drugs made by Novo Nordisk. But several months later, in October 2023, Gantz's husband found her on the floor unconscious. This photo was taken by her daughter, a nurse at the hospital where Gantz was taken.
I had no idea what had happened to me.
Doctors found parts of her large intestine had died. It had to be removed. Then, while recovering from surgery, she went into cardiac arrest, prompting the hospital to call her daughter to warn her her mother could die.
I had no warning that this was even a possibility.
She's now suing drug maker Novo Nordisk, claiming its drug labels do not adequately warn patients and doctors about potentially serious side effects, including gastroparesis or stomach paralysis and bowel obstruction. Gantz says she wants others to know about her experience.
This should not have happened to me. It just should not have happened to me. If it happened to me, it could happen to you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Esau out here giving crazy work. Okay, crazy work, man. But you dumb, stupid people, you know, and the reason why it's so hard for people in America to lose weight is because they're full of chemicals, man. You know, they eat so much food it don't break down. Okay, it don't go anywhere. It just store, it just, you know, it just store itself in this unmovable fat. You know, you know, you really get into it. Which I got a video on. Lord, we can get into it in the morning of a Ratazar. You know, but it's quite a few videos I got dealing with food, you know, but you go into the chemicals in the food, okay? You got forever chemicals in the food. You know, like this devil, man, and people are stuck with this weight from all this processed food. Okay, these chemicals, you know, in ingested food. Okay, and then he whip out, you know, a miracle, all right, a drug. Okay, with all these side effects, man. She said her large intestine died. Like, nigga, what? You see, then the surgery, she went to cardiac arrest. You know, I said, Esau out here giving folks the business out here, man. All right, well, it's good for you people to trust the devil, man, especially you Edomites. Let's play a little more.
Kim, holy cow!
Yeah.
What's your reaction to this?
I mean, first of all, don't you feel horrible for this lady? I do. I mean, part of her large intestine actually died. It's not something that's going to grow back. And that almost resulted in her death. And what makes me feel even more sad, Jimmy, is this is only one of many stories that are having all these complications. There's instances of sudden death. I mean, this guy, Rob Briggs, was perfectly fine. And then he dies within hours of catastrophic internal bleeding. They were able to resuscitate him, but he had severe brain damage, so much that his wife had to make the difficult decision to pull him off life support. This is nuts. I mean, another woman, Marcia Etanoff, had been taking Ozempic for only 6 months before she developed severe nausea and persistent vomiting. And then a few days after that, she choked on her own vomit and died.
Crazy work. Getting them out of here. Get them out of here. All right? Esau putting up numbers out here, man. Okay, and it's legal. This is legal. He's doing this and making billions. Okay? Putting you night. How Steph Curry do the night, you know, out of here. Night. You see? Boy, y'all Uncle Tough out here in these streets, man.
I try to talk about this in my stand-up act. People are incredulous. They don't, because of course, they don't talk about this like they should. There's one news report, but it's not really well known at all. When I bring it up in comedy clubs, people think I'm lying about it, and I have to tell them, Google it. And in fact, here's from the Economic Times. Did Ozempic manufacturer Novo Nordisk hide drug death reports? Here's what the FDA said about the side effects reporting. That this is real, right?
Oh, yeah, it's real. Oh, yeah. The FDA has accused Novo Nordisk of failing to properly report how many cases of these serious side effects and even deaths are associated with their drug. So, this is underreported tremendously. But let's talk about how this drug works in the body. Do you know where these GLP drugs come from, Jimmy?
No, I don't.
Well, they developed it. It's synthetic now, but it's from a lizard. It's synthetic, but this is where they had the original idea. The Gila monster.
No.
The lizard, the Gila monster.
No. Well, let's watch this video. This speaks right to that.
Gila monsters, an iconic creature of the desert Southwest. And apparently, the scaly reptiles held the secret to modern weight loss.
They have a slow metabolism, and they can go on 2, 3, 4 meals in a given year and usually do just fine.
In the late 1980s, scientists started looking into a specific Gila monster gene.
But I think later, towards the end of 1990s, they discovered this specific protein in the Gila monster's venom, which was able to potentiate the effects of insulin made by our own bodies. And that was the protein that they sort of used to then come up with all these GLPs that we now had.
Gila monster venom is a large, though humans still need more than 3 to 4 meals a year. It is one of the effects of GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic that have become quite popular for losing weight.
Whoa.
The Gila monster, man. Okay? This nigga got way too much free time, man. This is a child playing pranks on people, man. No mature person would do this, man. What is this nigga doing, man? The Gila monster? Okay? This is what this nigga is spending his time and resources and money on. Things like this, man. All right? Well, she's going to explain it some more, man.
Whoa. Wow. So that's how Ozempic works? It slows down your metabolism?
Yeah, it slows your metabolism and your digestive process. And that's why the stomach paralysis is so common, Jimmy, because it will sometimes slow your digestion so much that it actually stops working completely. And then what it's doing is it's essentially forcing you to go on a starvation diet, which then leads to malnutrition, which plays a big role in worsening depression, anxiety. Come on, humans aren't meant to survive off 3 or 4 meals a year. This form of weight.
What? Oh my gosh, man. 3 to 4 meals a year, man. You know, this man is putting something in you that's telling your body that you're okay with 3 or 4 meals a year. God damn. Crazy work, man. The one and only. Uncle E.
Loss also, people need to know this, it causes you to lose more muscle than fat.
Yep.
You know, I'm 71 now, so I know the importance of maintaining my health while, you know, dieting to lose weight and do it the right way. When you're losing weight in a healthy way, 3/4 of your weight should be fat mass. If you lose 20 pounds, 15 pounds should be fat, and 5 pounds should be lean muscle mass. But when they put the patients on these drugs, Jimmy, they do DEXA scans before this, or before and after. And this is something the FDA did not require the drug makers to do when they were getting the drugs approved, of course. But a DEXA scan is an advanced body composition test that will measure your body fat, your muscle mass, your bone density, and your visceral fat. That's that nasty fat that, you know, gets around all your organs. And so unlike a regular scale that only shows total weight, a DEXA scan will give a detailed breakdown of what your body is actually made of. And so it makes it a much more accurate way to track health and fitness progress. But we're seeing that 2/3 of the weight loss is lean muscle mass in the patients taking these weight loss drugs, and only 1/3 is fat mass. So guess what? They're getting lighter, but they're getting fatter. And healthy weight loss would be something, as I said, like 25% lean muscle mass, losing that, and 75% fat loss. But the loss of muscle mass is leading to things that you can't even believe, Jimmy, like osteopenia, osteoporosis, which is causing something called, again, we have something called Ozempic bones. Have you seen these?
Yeah, well, here's a graph of what you're talking about. Ozempic has officially stopped being a magic pill. It's now shredding your bone. That's what your bone's supposed to look like. And this is what an Ozempic bone is, Kim?
Yeah. It's like your bone is supposed to be solid and strong. And now it looks like it's full of holes. So a video of a 30-year-old, get this, 30 years old, this woman, it went viral. She was diagnosed with advanced osteoporosis after only using Ozempic for a year, 1 year. And, you know, we already know how to naturally lose weight through things like diet and exercise, but something a lot of people don't know, that there was a study done that showed people who are obese, they're actually missing a couple of crucial probiotics in their gut microbiome, that people within a healthy weight range, they have those in their gut microbiome. They're possessed of those. And having these specific strains in your gut makes all the difference between being obese or being skinny. And it's not always due to the body fat that people have big bellies. Bloating plays a huge role in what your waistline looks like. And kimchi has been shown to significantly reduce bloating because it gives you better digestion and better regularity, putting the good guys back in your gut. Because the kimchi has these specific probiotic strains, Jimmy, and that's why a recent study showed how effective eating kimchi really is.
Well, let me look. Here is that study. This is in SciTech Daily. Kimchi diet reduces body.
Yeah, so I think they're just gonna go on talk about the kimchi because I think she's real big on the kimchi, that probiotic, you know. But you know, which is good. You know, the kimchi is good for the gut. You know, it's not medical information, health information, but the kimchi is, you know, good for the gut and digestive. All right, but yeah, man, I just want to show that main, you know, snippet. All right, Esau highlight tape with that Ozempic, man. It's out here doing numbers on these niggas, man. Okay, well, let Let me see, man. If I look at the precept, man, you know, and you people are idiots, and you the same people that's about to let this man put a technology in your ass. This is the same man. This is the same man that you people finna trust to put this technology in your ass. He finna put something that's gonna stay inside you. Technology that's gonna stay inside you, man. The CHIP, all right, which is the MOTB, the mark of the beast, man. Okay, you dumb, stupid niggas finna allow this nigga to merge you with technology, man. You deserve everything that you're going to get, man. Okay, and then some, man, for still trusting this nigga. All right, this late in the game, man. Okay, Proverbs 25:19 said, confidence in the unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. And y'all still depend on this nigga for help after all this information that comes out about this nigga, man. And y'all still run to this nigga for some miracle drug, man. Okay? All this information is coming out about this nigga, man. People are protesting. You know, you got all these whistleblowers, these insiders, people that used to work on the inside and now, you know, flipping and telling and all this information, man. Okay, and people still run to this nigga, man, because they look at this nigga as a god, man. You know, they still look at this nigga as a god, man. All right, and eventually, these people that keep trusting in this, man, and this is you Israelites, okay, you Israelites, man. Let's see real quick. Let me see what race of people takes. Let's see. Let me see. See if it gives us something. Let's see. So it's showing that yeah, it's most likely destroying you Edomites, man. And the reason why Jay came on it is because of if you have type 2 diabetes, well, that's mainly what Jake got. All right, but most of these Edomites, say 65 to 82% Edomites, you know, only GLP-1 medications, man. That's great. That's absolutely great, man. Okay, Uncle out here giving his own people crazy work, man. Okay, well, let's go here. What I was going to get. Okay, man, I'm going to get something in Isaiah. Okay, but at the end, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to get. Because see, people still look at, you know, Esau as some type of miracle work. Okay, they're still enchanted by these commercials. All right, and people, you know, you know, especially in America, you know, social media has just crashed everyone's self-esteem. You know, so they're vulnerable as hell. Okay, to these enchantments, man. You know, some type of instant self-approval. Okay, and the ultimate trap that this nigga got for people is this MOTB. Now, this is Isaiah 36:6. It says, "Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, wherein if a man lean, it will go into his hand." Yeah, so trusting in this system, okay, you still trust this man, all right, his science, okay, you still look at this nigga like he got it figured out. You know, you trust this man with this economy. You trust Esau to figure it out. You know, you trust this man to fix the problems that he created. Okay, just so he can present another problem for you as a solution. Okay, so he's going to cause all type of chaos. You know, crash in the economy. All right, civil unrest. Okay, famine. You see, and he's going to present this miracle called the C-hip, the MOTB. Okay, and just like people are still falling, because he said 31 million people are on the Zemp. Okay, and that's like 10% of America's population. That's 10% of that's close to 10% of America's population on the Ozempic, man. Okay, out of there. You see, it said, well, if a man lean, all right, lean means you depend. Okay, so if you're dependence in this system, it will go into your hand. You're going to merge with this technology. In order to keep depending and leaning on this system, guess what? You're going to have to merge with technology, my boy. Okay, and that's going to be a whole nother level of side effects, man. Okay, it says, and pierce it, so is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him, man. You know, so we're going to continue to trust, in our power, man. Nah, man, we're going to wait it out. Lord will. Lord keep the spirit on us to wait it out, man. We got something better. All right. This is Lamentation 3:24. Said the Lord, Yahweh Bashim al-Shad, my portion. Bless, save my soul. It said, therefore I will hope in him. The Lord is good unto them that wait for him, and the soul that seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim al-Shad, man. And the beautiful thing about this wisdom, man, it covers everything, man. This wisdom puts us in the spirit of health, being in shape, understanding the body more, even from that perspective, man. So the truth is really putting us on game. At the end of the day, we need salvation, we need new bodies, okay? But the Lord has given us, wisdom, and right, even in, how our body works, the herbs, and there's certain brothers that's their gift, they tapped in, in the physician, we got physicians amongst the body, man, of Yahweh Bashim al-Shah, so we good, man. You see, we good, man, and the Lord, all right, is gonna, the Lord is getting ready, all right, to put this nigga out his misery, man. Esau, man, remove him from power. Okay, and he needs to be in chains, man. Okay, because uncle's out here going crazy on folks, man. You see, and his nigga just getting started. So that's the point. I'll leave it there, Lord will. All right, you brothers. All right, and you few sisters edified. Till next time, I say Shalom, Kwam Yashala, Abba.